Just a day after the US finally gave permission for Ukraine to fire American long-range missiles into Russia, Kyiv has done so. Its attack on a target within Russia's recognized territorial borders was confirmed by both Moscow and by officials in Washington. The change in US policy comes at a critical time, with the Biden administration due to give way to that of Donald Trump in January. Moscow says the strike hit the Bryansk region this morning. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that they will react accordingly. Today marks 1,000 days since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And this latest development is being watched very carefully by world leaders at the G20 summit in Brazil. More on that in a moment. But first, our Russia editor Steve Rosenberg has this report from Moscow.
Breaking news on Russian TV. Claims that Ukraine had fired 6 American ATACMS missiles into Russia's Bryansk region, though no reports of casualties. The response from Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, said the missile attack was a signal that the West wants to escalate the conflict. But is this escalation by Russia? Published today, a Kremlin decree lowering the nuclear threshold. Russia now reserving the right to go nuclear even if attacked by conventional weapons, if such an attack threatens Russia's sovereignty or territorial integrity. President Putin had promised changes to the nuclear doctrine weeks ago, a clear signal to Europe and America not to let Ukraine strike Russia with long-range missiles. Then, an even clearer signal. Russian nuclear exercises, a warning to the West not to cross Russia's red lines. But the key question, in Russia's war on Ukraine, would Vladimir Putin use a nuclear weapon?
I think it's quite serious, because even Putin doesn't know whether he can use nukes or he can't. It depends on his emotions. We know that he's a very emotional man, and the decision to begin this war was also an emotional step.
The lowering of the nuclear threshold does not mean that Vladimir Putin is about to press the nuclear button. These changes are designed, I think, at the very least, to put pressure on Western leaders who will now have to decide, is Putin bluffing or not?
Folks, the clip that you just saw was just a news clip that was just uploaded just a little bit ago by that news agency. Question is Putin bluffing or not? Folks, I do not think he's bluffing at all. I think he will do it if he has to. I mean, look what he has done so far with the huge war in Ukraine. Okay? Come on, guys. We are not to take him not seriously. We need to take him seriously, folks. This is about to get real, okay? It's already gotten real. Okay, we have crossed the line by allowing Ukraine to strike with our weapons into Russian territory. Okay, that red line has now been crossed, I believe, and now they're preparing for a response. What kind of response will that be, folks, I do not know, but it's not to be taken lightly. Okay? Do you think, and you leave the comments below in the box below, do you think Russia will respond with nuclear weapons, or do you think he's going to respond in another way? Leave all your comments down or below. You know, I believe that it's going to go the direction it's going to go. It's going to lead us into a global conflict where all the countries are going to start striking at each other. And then Russia will then finally have to do the unthinkable, press the red button. That's where I think this is going to go. That is the biggest scenario that I got in my head. I don't think he's just going to come back and start striking with nuclear missiles all by himself like that. Okay? He probably will just start bombing Ukraine back with some bigger missiles, and that's about it. But then they're going to come back with more ATACMS missiles and start hitting, and then when it starts hitting civilians, Russia then is going to start threatening with full-on nuclear war, and then somebody's going to preemptively strike Russia, and then other people are going to follow behind there, and then they're all going to start hitting Russia. Russia then will call on its ally, or his side of the people, which is China, North Korea, Iran, and they'll start to get involved, and then it'll all lead down to Putin pressing the button finally. Now, folks, I don't think God is going to allow this to happen on our watch with us being here. His church is still here, in case you're wondering. That is why we haven't got into a nuclear war yet, because we're still here. The way it's down, where it's coming down to, folks, is the Lord. No one seems like they're going to negotiate peace between now, before Trump gets in office. And all of a sudden the big push. Why the big push to get this war going now is the big question. Why weeks before Trump is going into office? What is their agenda behind all this? Is it because they don't want him taking office? In a crisis, they could stay in office now. During a crisis, they could declare an emergency, a worldwide emergency, and said, look, guys, we ain't going anywhere until this crisis is resolved. I don't know, folks. It's my opinion, though. This is not to be taken lightly. We're watching this closely. All right, folks. And Putin, he's not playing, folks. Okay, you can see it in his eyes. He's serious. Okay, he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to press the button. But if he's pushed to the edge, when you push the bear in the back of the cage and he has nowhere to go, he's going to fight back with all he has, which will include nuclear weapons, folks. I don't think you're hearing me, okay? You need to know this, because if you're not saved, you are not going to go to heaven. You're not going to go up in the rapture with the rest of us. The ark is coming, and when he pulls his church out of here, which is going to come down to that. If God sees a nuclear war coming before Trump gets in office, he's going to have to stop it himself if no one else is going to do it. And I can only think of one way that he will do it, is use the Antichrist at his disposal. He is out there and he's waiting to be put to work by the devil. All the devil has to do is activate him and put him in power to stop this war. But what is stopping him is us. We're in his face right now. And we're here until the Lord gets us out of here. That is why this has not stopped yet, because the Antichrist has not came out yet. If God's going to have to intervene supernaturally, I believe that is the next move that God will do, will be the rapture of the church. His church will be out of here, and then the Antichrist can come into play and do what he has to do to stop this war, which he will do a way better job than anybody can possibly do, because he's the Antichrist, okay? So that is what is next. That is the next move I believe that's coming, is the Lord is about to remove his church out of here, because that is where this is all coming down to. It's coming right down to the rapture of the church. This is what the world would look like, I believe, moments before the rapture. It would be on the brink of a world war. If God doesn't intervene, humanity will destroy itself with nuclear weapons. If God doesn't intervene, and God sees that already in the future in the cards, that he knows that that's getting ready to happen. So if it is going to happen, if the world war is coming before Trump gets in, which is certainly starting to look like, God's going to have to intervene. And he doesn't have to do anything. I'm not directing anything at God like that, but you get it, folks. He will do something. He's not going to let humanity get destroyed. Because the Bible says there's 7 years and all that. So get ready, folks. Get ready. We are about to go home. I can't wait. In a way, this is good news to me, because it means we're going home. But at the same time, no one wants war. We want peace. I get it. I don't want to see a nuclear war, no more than anybody else does. But this is coming, folks, whether we like it or not. It's in the Bible that the last days will be perilous before the rapture comes. And people are still going to be eating one out, marrying, giving in marriage, and all that. This is happening every day during all this crisis. And then the Lord's going to come at a secret moment that no one is expecting him. He'll come like a thief as those that are not watching. And he'll come quickly. It'll come, we will know that he's coming because we're already expecting him to come. It won't come as a thief as us. Alright, guys. I'm going to end this video. I didn't want it to be a long video. Alright guys, please share our videos, like and subscribe. Check the subscribe button on all your channels. If you've seen that you've been unsubscribed, please resubscribe, folks. I believe people are getting unsubscribed to my channel without them knowing about it. Alright guys, love you. I'll see you in the clouds in case it happens. Keep your eyes on this whole Russia thing. It could be our key. Take it out of here, folks, to the rapture of the church. Also, watch the Israel war. Talk to y'all later. Love y'all.